How's it going, everybody? A little late to the show, but wanted to get in there nonetheless and give my thoughts on Knull Battle World as a structure and just give a huge warning so people don't get screwed over, essentially. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And let's start with the warning since we are early on in the video. It doesn't matter if your alliance has already cleared Knull. It doesn't matter if your alliance has already gotten enough victory points to max out the milestones. You have to hit Knull at least once. You have to let the hit stick, okay? If you don't, it's like war, you will not be considered as a participant and you will not get the rewards, i.e. you will not get the Knull shards. So make sure you hit Knull. The second thing I want to talk about, and a couple people took it the wrong way in my last video because I didn't really communicate it properly. I said the victory points from the nodes don't really matter. It's just about building your Astral team so you can get that elite missions done. And why I didn't communicate properly is because I was looking ahead at the victory points you get from Knull. So when you fight Knull, you get 1 million victory points for a clear, but you also get 1 million victory points for doing 100% if his life is damaged. So every time you kill Knull, you get 2 million victory points, which is why it is so easy to max out this milestone here. This only keeps 12 million. We basically maxed out every single node in the 3 zones. Walked out with, I think, 8 million points, but we killed Knull 6 times, which would have capped us off. And we do not have everyone with maxed Astral, which is why, once again, the really only important team to build for Battle World is Astral. And I have heard the rumors that exactly what we thought, what we feared to be the case, is correct, and that is Astral is the only meaningful team against Knull. So let's see, he's currently at 51% life. We'll start with our Astral team, and then we'll hit it with a couple other guys. So let's go Astral. Bada boom, bada bang, 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 bang. And I have heard the damage cap removal, except for the max health cap, is working, apparently. So that's kind of cool. We might see a little bit more damage, but not too much, I assume. The barrier and the speed stuff is still way too much. We'll talk through the Astral fight while we're doing it, but when we're doing the other teams, I just want to talk about, like, structurally what I would love to see as far as the Knull boss fight goes in the future and in the nodes and in the Battle World mode, because I think there's actually still a lot of potential here. And people are clowning on it right now because of how it came out the first time, and because now it does seem like it's still really easy to get through. I would argue, and I think a lot of people with smaller rosters would argue as well, okay, he's actually at 28%, that the game mode itself, the nodes, are actually much harder than they were the first time around. And that if we weren't like level 100 and had a lot of gear to 19 people, we wouldn't be seeing it this way. All right, let me see. What do we want to do here? Maybe we'll save the ultimate. Let's just do the special for now. Oops, I think I should have made my Shadow King a striker for this. Ah, he is. Good. Let's see. This is going to give us counters. Let's do it. Want to get those counters up so we get some percentage damage from our Doctor Strange and our Moondragon. Good stuff. That's why we have them separated like that. Let's try and blow the Gwenum away. Some damage comes in. I see some percentile damage. Boom. So 4 million is the cap, is it? Or shouldn't it be more because I have Emma? Unsure. Let's save that ultimate still. We've done a whole percentage of damage so far. No time limit, so it's just as long as we die, right? It's 10%, so that should be the cap, sure. This gives us safeguard, sure. I think the big thing here, right, is that eventually he's just gonna have too much rage stacks. I'm just gonna do the ultimate. We're getting so much energy. Eventually he's just gonna have too much rage stacks. We're not gonna really get to move at all. The reason you would want to manually play this, I guess, is because anytime Doctor Strange ults after the first time is kind of a waste. I'll auto-play it. We'll see. Because it seems like this is probably going to be 10 minutes of just, like, clicking buttons for no reason for, like, the most minimal gain ever. Doctor Strange didn't ult. Does he only ult with an AI if there's a reason to? If there's somebody to res? Because there's a small reason to do it. I think it gives death proofs, right? I'll tell you what, we will do one Doctor Strange ultimate, and then we're going to chill. And I'll just talk about what I would like to see from Battle World in the coming days. Here. Let's get off this. Here we go. Boom. I still think they did took more time on the animation for, well, for Knull for sure, and for Shadow King's ultimates there than they did the Odin ultimate. So I do like that. This does get death proof, right? Counter death proof deflect. Yeah. All right, let's do that and let's go ahead and hit auto. All right. So what I would love to see in the future for Battle World is I want to see our decisions, our sacrifices, our builds mean more to the mode. So what do I say when I mean that? Well, what do I mean when I say that? Sorry, it's early. Wife's birthday party last night. I want the previous zones to matter. Because once you do have a certain build, like for Zone 2, once you do have Mysterio built up, the rest is quite easy, right? The Ares can hurt you for sure on the Herald node, but you can reset it until it doesn't. Same with the Gore in the first zone. Like, yeah, he can one-shot you, but if you back out quickly enough and just hit it again, like, you get infinite turns at it. Which I think you should if they're going to have a character like Gore that's going to pop off right away and nearly murder you before you get to breathe, right? I think that's probably a good thing. But what I would like to see, and a lot of you are going to cringe as soon as I say this, but bear with me for a second, is a return of Spec Ops. But an individualized Spec Ops. So not the Spec Ops that we saw. They could still probably recycle most of that interface. I would like to see the return of Spec Ops in a single player way where they know, I mean, they have to know, right? Because it's pretty obvious when we get in there. They know the characters that make these nodes doable. So Val and Kahori are a good example of cosmic heroes that really help Odin. Odin is obviously a huge character there. Mysterio for Zone 2, Node 1. Apocalypse for the Herald node in the first zone. Nightcrawler or Old Man Logan for global heroes. Like, there's a lot of obvious choices for the characters that make this mode a lot easier, make it cake, essentially, right? Another reference to the birthday party. All right. I think that they should have an individual Spec Ops where everybody gets the opportunity to sacrifice, I don't know, as many characters as they want, maybe, or 10 characters again, and it's those meaningful characters. And depending on which characters you release, you get a certain amount of different points, not victory points. Let's take victory points out of it because it's kind of a boring metric, especially if they're not going to have leaderboards, which they don't right now, right? We have the 12 mil milestone, but that is very easily achieved when you kill Knull, and it looks like I'll probably end up doing 25% damage on my own with just Astral by the looks of it. So take victory points out of the Spec Ops situation, and instead, let's have it so that if I were to sacrifice certain characters to Spec Ops, and my alliance has a certain amount of these new Spec Ops points, then it would take off certain attributes to Knull. Because right now, Knull is a super boring fight. There's a lot of cool things Knull does. Summoning symbiotes is cool. His damage is cool. His whole vibe is cool, I would say, right? What's not cool is that he's getting a stupid amount of barrier. So really, you need an anti-barrier character at all time. He can't be rewound. He gets a stupid amount of speed. Speed stat and speed bar. Every time you hit him, he gets 20% speed bar, right? And it just goes to sort of this unplayable state at some point. And also, he's got the max health damage that you see him applying right now, right? You don't need all these things to not have him be unkillable. Like, he doesn't need all of that. I think with a certain amount of Spec Ops sacrifice points, like, you would take some of these attributes off, or half them at least. So let's say there's a total of 5 million Spec Ops points you and your alliance can gain if you were to get, everyone gets rid of the Old Man Logan, everyone gets rid of the Mysterio, everyone gets rid of whatever, right? There's 5 million total points. At 500,000 points, Knull gets half the amount of barrier he currently gets. At 1 million points, Knull can be turn meter rewound with diminishing returns. Like, he can be turn meter rewound every 5th turn or something like that, right? His speed stat increase is halved, or it doesn't happen at all. Still have his damage stat go crazy. The speed bar he gets when you hit him is halved. Stuff like that. Okay, Shadow King just got tunneled out this fight. I might have to actually reset and redo this. What a waste of time. Considering I'm not going to do it. It doesn't matter. Something like that, right? And then to make it so that your sacrifices are a gamble to try and get this done, they obviously would have to increase the amount of points you need to get per zone to move on to the next zone. Instead of it being 100 points, you know, we were getting like 2.5 million or something like that to move on to the next zone out of the 100 that we needed. I'd say you probably make that a nice 1.5 million, right? So if we have a lot of people that can't clear all the nodes, because without Omen and Logan they can't do it. Without Odin, they can only get through two of the waves on the Cosmic Hero node. Like, that's fine. Make it tough. Make it fun. And also, a lot of other games have this. Have a I screwed up button, so that if I'm doing difficulty 5 and my alliance does sacrifice too much stuff, and we feel like, oh crap, we're not going to go on to the next zone, let us drop down a difficulty. Because apparently when you drop down difficulties, there's different enemies on the zones, on the nodes, which is kind of crazy, kind of cool, really, right? Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here, and that's just for the Knull fight. That's just to make the structure of Battle World more fun. There's also the nodes themselves. I was so sad. Look, he just took 2 turns in a row now. You see, this is where Knull gets unplayable and unfun. I was so disappointed on that vampire node. Apparently, if you just Psycho Zerg the Oath, you get the same amount of points you get if you kill all the vampire minions like I did. Which is like, okay, so what's the freaking point then, my guy? They need to do some more fun gameplay mechanics. It's a great step what they did. The gameplay is so much better than it was, right? Instead of it just being like, here's a war team with war rules, you're just going to win Crucible. They made the nodes have a really broad tag. Cosmic Hero, Global Hero, City Hero. Like, these are giant tags. That was good, because then they showed they can actually make difficult nodes. And they did have some trap characters on the nodes, right? Hercules on the City Villain node was a trap character. Like, he would absolutely demolish you if you weren't careful. The Gore on the Herald node, the Ares on the Herald node, if you didn't say get Oath Expose on him, clear that safeguard, and kill him quickly, like you were in for a World of Hurt, right? That's somewhat interesting, but that is still just the same old gameplay we've been used to forever. I think that vampire node idea was awesome, and they need to lean into that for sure. And having specialized characters that we just face in PvE, I think is cool. I don't think anybody's like, I really want to play with Vampire Minion 5, right? I don't think that's something people are clamoring for. And they can lean into that, and we can have a lot of fun with that, I think. 200 million damage. I think I could have got to 250 million if I played this out, if I didn't let Shadow King die the way he died. I just don't want to do it. So, putting that in perspective, that was 20% from one player on the highest difficulty. So 5 players would clear a Knull, which means if you were to have 20 people, that's 4 Knull clears. Okay, so that means my alliance base did way better than me. Or it means there's some really good teams out there. Let's see. Thief of Joy coming in with 342 million damage. That's great. So that's my goal then. My goal is to somehow throw up another 200 million. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, but we'll see what we can do here. Let's at least get him killed one more time. I heard the Kang 3% is still a thing, so that's the first team I'll start with. Let's go in there with Kang. If I can find him. Kang. And I'll still do the bleed team, I guess. No, I'm gonna use new characters. I think new characters are just gonna be the way to go here. Alright. Let's go with Kang. I'll save Odin. I'll use Mephisto here. I'll use... Orcus Orcus did pretty good last time. Because the bleed teams are dead, right? It's all about just damage and buffs and countering debuffs and stuff like that now. Orcus seems like a pretty good idea here. 3-piece Orcus. We go in with, not Sentinels, we don't want the bots anymore. We go in with, like, Lady Deathstrike, Nimrod, Scientist Supreme, maybe. Or do we want to get some anti-barrier? I'll tell you what, let's go in with Logan here. Let's go Kang, Logan, Mephisto. We're going to save Black Knight for the next team. I don't waste too much time on this because it doesn't really matter. We already have... There's no leaderboard. If there's no leaderboard, it takes a lot of the fun out of finding teams out of the situation, right? I guess let's just go Gladiator at Thanos. Sure, why not? Let's give this a shot. Sure. Can I get more crit, maybe? The bleeds are capped now, right? Okay, so if bleeds are capped, then Old Man Logan's damage is super duper hindered. So let's go in like this, and I want to see if that Kang damage pops him 3% right away. He was at 5% when we left, right? Let's find out. Somebody else hit him at the same time, so he's now at 81%. All right, that's fine. Exhaust doesn't work, so neither does Expose. Let's just do the basic here. Good stuff. I wonder if we can kill him 10 times as an alliance. I don't know who else hasn't hit him yet. All right, we got to get that barrier off him. Good stuff. We have other people that clear a barrier as well with Gladiator and such. This clears barrier, so we don't want to use that just yet. That's another thing. Expose on Knull is something that we should have able to land, but just have him immune to Expose negatively affecting him, but let it positively affect our character. So what do I mean when I say that? Endgame Thanos gives energy, right? I think that's something that they should allow. So that was 2 million there. So wait, is there a damage cap then? I thought there was no damage cap anymore. I think there's still a damage cap. I should have ulted because it would have cleansed that blind. We don't get to do assists. I forgot. That's super fun. That's another thing. We should be able to do assists if we do a certain amount of victory points. Obviously, right? That's just straight damage on him. There's no reason to cap that, in my opinion. Oof. Our Kang got demolished here. And he's definitely dead. He's got a bleed on him. He's definitely dead here. And he's right in the middle, so... Yeah, so there's definitely a damage cap still. That's super lame. Let's go ahead and do this. So we've done 4% of his life so far. That's, oof. Not the greatest. Let's take that offense down off me. Alright, this will be a cleanse. Take the rest of that barrier off. It's pretty good timing, I guess. Boom. He still doesn't have barrier. We'll see if Old Man Logan could live one more turn to strip the next barrier off. Okay, Thanos passive is cool. Yeah, there goes the barrier. Good stuff. Then 6% damage. You know what? I'm going to say 6% damage is not terrible. With one of our second or third tier teams. Probably not great either. You could probably get up to 15%, I would assume. Alrighty. Ooh. The Void Knight resisting the debuff's not great. Alright. See you later, alligators. Thank God for the death proof on Old Man Logan there. Let's go, let's go. Logan, no. Logan, die to somebody that's not named Knull. Yes. Good job, buddy. Oh, your barrier saved you. Awkward. Super awkward. So we're going to end up doing 7%. I just don't care. It doesn't matter, right? Let me know what you guys are using as your second and third team for funsies. I guess if you don't have a stacked alliance, if you're missing characters and you want to hit that 12 mil milestone difficulty 5, or if you're trying to hit some sort of certain victory points to climb your difficulties and you don't have a lot of super endgame players, then maybe you have to do this approaches differently, right? So let me know what you guys are doing in that regard. I'm thinking the next team is going to be like a Mephisto Black Knight sort of team. Sorry, not Mephisto Black Knight. Odin Black Knight sort of team. But that's when I thought that the damage cap was taken care of. It's not, doesn't seem like it is. But we'll see. Let's get in there. Last team going in hot. Odin, yes. Kahori, Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman seems like not a terrible idea, but not the best idea either. She's too slow. She's too slow. Well, her being slow means that Odin's going to do more, so that's actually a good thing, right? Because every turn, it just speeds up and speeds up and speeds up. the Knull. Is Apocalypse a good idea? Apocalypse gives extra life and percentage, but if the damage cap is still in effect, like, what does that matter? Skrull, once again, if the damage cap is in effect, what does he matter? So I kind of feel like, what? Maybe just Night Stalkers? Maybe just Night Stalkers with Man-Thing instead of Kahori? Kahori at 123 speed, like, it's pretty slow, right? I want some fast characters. Preferably characters that could get speed up, which would be Orcus. I just think they'll take more turns is all. And debuff control and heals. I feel like we don't have any heals like this. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do Orcus just because I feel like that speed is going to be clutch. And we're going to sit both Sentinel and Omega Sentinel. Just don't feel like they're not it. We got healers, we got raiders. I'd rather Nimrod die than our Odin. I'd rather keep our Scientist Supreme as our healer. Lady Destro, you know what? Lady Destro gets Death Proofs. Let's put her over here. Maybe she can spam get Death Proofs by being cleansed and having Scientist Supreme healer. It really sucks they murdered our bleed team. Or maybe they didn't. And I'm just, I'm thinking they did because they said they did. Let me know if I'm wrong in that regard. No turn marine might, but we hit for 2 million. So there's definitely a damage cap if we're stuck hitting for 2 million. And also, I thought the damage cap was 4 million on difficulty 15. So am I just super wrong? Here, let's cleanse our Odin. Let's just basic here to get that battlefield effect up. Since no assists. Alright. Some good damage. We'll just basic here. Yeah, see, the ISO attack didn't actually do anything. I don't like that. That bums me out. Alright, Odin, let's see that damage. It did nothing. I don't know why it did nothing, but it definitely did nothing. Alright. Get him with the stun, Nimrod. You know you can't. Okay. Oh, that was huge damage. That's scary. Odin battlefield effect. We'll take care of all these symbiotes. Ooh, or not, because they come in with preloaded turn bar. Good stuff. Alright. Let's alt. Why? The damage. Yeah, see, this is just the case of just smothering mechanics. Because if they didn't have this stupid damage cap thing that clearly is still there, what I just did would have been the proper move, right? So what I did made Knull get hit multiple times by Lady Deathstrike. The bleeds aren't doing bleed stuff anymore, which I think is fine because there was obviously something buggy. But every time Lady Deathstrike hit him, that could have been doing damage. That could have been doing a good significant amount of damage. But because they put apparently a 2 million damage cap on it, like that's trash. Oh, Knull sucks, guys. I don't know what to say. Knull should be a super fun fight. This sucks. I understand they needed to get this out to us. This sucks, though. But 4% damage so far. Scientist Supreme apparently murdered my Black Knight. That's kind of funny. So we lost our... I mean, I could definitely reset this. I could definitely make a better team and do more. But what's the point? This just smothering stupid-ass mechanics does not inspire me to play the game. They gotta do better. Like, I can't even clear the extra barrier because of the damage. It's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, there's so much potential here that is just being absolutely squandered. Squandered. Oh my god, this is turbo frustrating. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe there's actual teams that circumvent this better. Let me know in the comment section below. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But at the end of the day, there's good potential here. Let's see if they'll ever be able to realize it, I guess. Right, guys? Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. We're going to have a Cosmic Crucible video coming up later today. All the best to you. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Have fun. I'll see you guys a little bit later. 55 million. Hey, I think maybe we pushed up to around where Thief of Joy was there. Let's see. Yeah, 323 million. Yeah, I could have tried more and done a little bit better, but yeah, what's the point? What's the point? All right, guys. Take care. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.